Kelly. But I said I got up today and I went, I absolutely hate it. I look shredded. That's what I'm going to do before summer next year, is just eat a bunch of raw chicken.
The way it goes out for fan experience at the PSOE World Cup is download the PSOE World Cup fan experience app. Go to the App Store or Google Play and search PSOE World Cup 2022.
Hello and welcome to the Swimming World Cup Series 2022. My name's John Mason. I am the host for the entire series, and what a pleasure it is to have you guys here joining us in Toronto. My job is, of course, to make things a little bit simpler for you and keep you up to date on what's happening throughout the entire weekend. So we're going to take a look at the point system because it can get a little bit complicated. The athletes are scored on two things: their placing in a final and their performance points. So, say they come first in a race, they will get 10 points, second place would get 8 points, third place 6 points, and so on and so forth down the list. That part's simple. We then move over to the performance points, okay? This is where it can get a little bit tricky for you guys. So the performance points are based on the FINA points. The FINA points are out of 1,000. 1,000 being the current world record. The closer an athlete gets to that, the higher their score will be. So, for example, an athlete gets 944 FINA points, that would be 9.4 performance points. That, with a first place finish, would be 19.4 points overall for that race. Now, each athlete can only take their top 3 performances from the weekend to the total score at the end of it. So an athlete may swim 5 or 6 races. Their top 3 points, their top 3 scores are going to be the only one that counts. So hopefully that's made it a little bit clearer for you. I will keep you updated as we move throughout the weekend. So keep your ears open. But for now, let's take a look at the current standings as we head into tonight's action. Let's take a look at the women's program. So Sydney Pickram there with 46.6 in 5th. Kelly Pash in 4th with 46.8. Summer McIntosh with 48.9 there in 3rd. Maggie McNeil, local girl, with 55.7. And out in front there, Katie Ledecky, 55.8 after that stunning world record last night. On the men's program, Javier Acevedo coming in there in 5th, 42.6. Matt Sates is there on 47.8 in 4th. In 3rd is Trenton Julian for the USA on 49.5. Dylan Carter, 51.9 there in 2nd. And out in front, Shane Cassis from the United States of America, 57.9. Remember, of course, this could all change by the end of tonight. We'll just have to wait and see after another great night of racing.
And we're just about ready to rock and roll with a pretty good crowd building inside the Toronto Pan Am Sports Centre for the final day of the second leg of the FINA Swimming World Cup. We will begin with that men's 400-meter individual medley with 19-year-old Matthew Sates and Alberto Rossetti from Italy in the middle of the pool, and lots of great action to come. What are you looking forward to most, Brittany?
I think it's got to be the women's 100 fly. I think the hometown crowd's going to be cheering hard for reigning Olympic champion Maggie McNeil. But then we also have a contender in Louise Hansen, who at the 75-meter mark this morning was actually under world record pace. So we've consistently had something to cheer for every night so far, and I think tonight is no different.
And there's Jacob Gallant. He'll be in lane 8, the men's 400-meter IM from the Fredericton Aquanauts swim team. Fast.
And this 27-year-old Brazilian national team member was a finalist in both the 100 and 200-meter IM here at this Toronto World Cup stop.
States of America,
Charlie Swanson from Richmond, Virginia, represented University of Michigan when he swam collegiately. Gold in the 400 IM at the Pan Am Games in Lima a few years back.
Kieran Smith.
Yeah, so we don't see Kieran too often in this event, but he is a very strong 400 IMer in the yards pool. He's the SEC champion with the Florida Gators in this last year.
Japan's Yuki Ikari, Olympian for his country, 22 years of age, gold at the 2019 World University Games in Italy.
And this 19-year-old Hungarian was third in this event at the Berlin World Cup stop.
In lane 5, representing South Africa.
From South Africa, Matthew Sates, 3-time junior world record holder. A brief stint with your alma mater, Georgia. The Bulldogs won an NCAA title. He won this event last week in Berlin. He's been on the podium twice already.
Alberto Rossetti.
And Rossetti is the only one with an entry time in this field under 4 minutes. However, he was well off that last week in Berlin. Sates beat him by about 2 seconds. So you have to think Sates it's his race to lose here. And at this point in the competition, he's definitely going to have those points on his mind tonight, because every single race and every single point is going to matter here.
Matthew Sates out of lane 5, training back in South Africa again. He was first in the 400 free here in Toronto and third in the 100 meters IM. Alberto Rossetti, fourth at last year's short course world championship, and that is where he got that seed time of 3:59.57 that Brittany mentioned. That gets him the fourth lane here in this final of this men's 400-meter individual medley. Athletes will start with 4 laps, 100 meters of butterfly.
Take your mark.
All of last week's medalists, our podium placers from Berlin, are side by side in lanes 3, 4, and 5. Kosh, Rossetti, and Sates. Keep an eye on Ikari from Japan in lane 6.
Yeah, and if you weren't able to join us last night for the women's version of this event, I think one of the key things to think about when you're watching the 400 IM is how strategic it is and how every single swimmer has a different strength. Matthew Sates very strong on the fly and the free, so the bookends of this race. And it's always fun to watch the breaststroke. Who are the breaststroke specialists in the field that can really take off at that after that halfway point?
So Sates and Kosh off to a good start in lanes 5 and 3. Matthew Sates has got a nice little lead here now, about a half a body length lead. And the swimmers will switch to the backstroke. 4 lengths of the pool in that.
And Sates looked very relaxed, although about a body length, as you mentioned, ahead of the rest of the field. Still staying very composed, I'm sure, with his race plan. The backstroke is really all about getting in as much air as you can. So you can't kind of waver in this backstroke. You have to stay nice and strong and put in a good, strong effort. But it is all about getting a good tempo up, staying relaxed, getting good technique, and moving through the water well while you're getting in as much air as possible. Because on that breaststroke, you're going to really feel it on the back-to-breast turn that you're getting out of oxygen, and you're going to need it for the second half of this race.
Great turn for the Hungarian Hubert Kosh. He has maybe slightly moved into the lead here in this backstroke. Everybody seems to be swimming really relaxed, Brittany. That must be part of it.
Absolutely. You just have to stay in a good position on this backstroke. Obviously, if that's your specialty, as it looks like it is for Hubert Kosh, you want to get out in front, but the breaststroke is the big difference maker in a 400 IM.
So Kosh will turn at 156.57 that is, as they move to the breaststroke. Kosh in the lead. Sates trying to reel him in now.
And similar to a distance freestyle event, this is all about toughness and staying mentally strong. Because like I mentioned, when they come off their back on the breaststroke, this is where they're completely out of breath and they're really feeling the labor of this type of a race. But you see Sates really strong coming on in the breaststroke here and trying to retake over the lead here with about a 50 to go on this breaststroke leg.
Is he ever looking strong? He turns, and Matthew Sates into the lead, 2:31.63 over Kosh. Let's see who's in third place. It looks like up at the top of the pool, Ikari, and he looks to be in pretty good shape. And Charlie Swanson, the American, in lane 7.
And they just have to hope that Kieran Smith is far enough behind because he's a very strong distance freestyler. So when it comes to this freestyle, it's going to be a battle for that third place.
Kieran Smith fairly far off the pace as they switch now to the freestyle and 4 lengths of the pool. Matthew Sates has got a significant lead here, but coming up is Kosh, and then over is Swanson as well, up in lane 7 at the top of the pool.
Yeah, and you can see there Sates take a breath on both sides going into the turn, which isn't a technical dream, but he wanted to make sure that he had a good lead in this field. He's got lots more racing to go in the next couple of weeks, so he's going to try to conserve whatever he can. Strong swim here, though, for Sates.
Matthew Sates with about a 2 body length lead in lane 5. He is racing maybe to a second straight win in the World Cup. He's got less than 25 meters to go. Matthew Sates, the 19-year-old from South Africa, is really flying here. Let's watch the clock. Matthew Sates approaches the wall. It'll be just over 4 minutes, 4:02.65. Who gets second? It is Rossetti, the Italian, who was 4th at the World Championship last year, and then in third place, Hubert Kosh on the podium in this event for the second straight week.
Yeah, and this goes to show these World Cups are all about just getting in and racing. And you could see Rossetti with the big fist pump after his race. Matthew Sates, too, just waving to the crowd right now. Both of those, you know, they're not personal best times, but in the end of October, which, by the way, yesterday I know I said early October. I know Halloween is tomorrow, so big apologies to all our listeners for that. I think this year's flown by, quite literally. But this point in their season, they are all just in the middle of very hard training. So you just want to get in there, get tough, have a good race against some of these international competitors and see what it's kind of a check-in point as they go towards the winter training season.
Maybe lay down the gauntlet a little bit for the short course worlds, if that's part of your plan. How many of these athletes do you think are gearing up for that event?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because the short course worlds haven't always been a priority competition, but now that the World Cups have become more common, I think they're going to be really seriously contended this year. And so I know a lot have talked about it in their interviews, and it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of the names we're seeing here are also going to be in Australia in December.
So a repeat of last week's podium, Sates, Rossetti, and Koss, 1, 2, and 3 in Toronto as they were in Berlin.
Good race here this evening with these gentlemen as you're getting used to racing each other over this World Cup circuit.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. Changing strategies and not racing the same people to see how we improve during the meet. So it's always fun racing Hervey and you, so just glad to be here.
And we're going to see you next week in Indianapolis as you go for possibly the three-peat in this event and some others as well.
For sure.
Congratulations on the win. Alberto Rossetti, a great freestyle leg. You got Hubert by 1/10 of a second. I hear that's a bit of a thing that happens between you two.
Yeah, it's happened a few times already in Europeans this summer and also last week in Berlin. It's always difficult to race against him. He's a great guy, and when I can beat him, I'm always happy. So,
well, congratulations on the second place. Hubert Koss, 1/10 of a second on the outside, coming into third spot here, but you got to be happy with that race here in Toronto.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it was a great race. It was a fun one. I tried to give the boys a bit of a run for their money, literally, in the first 200 meters, but yeah, it's always great to race against them, and I hope to meet them again next week.
Well, congratulations to all three of our gentlemen. Your winner, Matthew Sates of South Africa.
Boy, the World Cups really suit Matthew Sates well. Dominant last year, dominant again this year. Next event in the pool, the men's 800-meter freestyle. The great Grant Hackett, the world record holder in this event, set way back in 2008. 7:23:42.
In lane 8, representing Canada, Guillaume Lord.
Guillaume Lord just turned 22. He made all the distance finals at the Canadian Championship this year, finished third in this event, the 800 free.
Lorne Wigginton.
And Lorne was representing the Calgary Swim Club. Only 17 years old, he was a member of the Team Canada for the 2022 Junior Pan Pacific Championships this past summer.
Canada, Yu-Tong Wu.
Goes by Adam Wu, a student at Columbia University in New York City, just 18 years of age, and I'm told by some good coaches he's a really talented young swimmer.
Leon Clausen-Honeyman.
And Leah represents the UBC Thunderbirds. He is originally from Gatineau, Quebec.
In lane 6 for Canada, Sebastian Poland.
Sebastian Collins, proudly wearing those Western University colors, 24 years of age. He qualified it with a time of 7:55 and change.
And he is from St. Jerome, Quebec. One of these many, as you're seeing, Canadian club team members here gaining valuable experience swimming in the finals at the World Cup.
The international contingent, there's Luke Kroon, 21 years of age. One of only 3 swimmers in the field with a qualifying time under 8 minutes.
Japan, Yuki Ikari.
And Yuki is a strong favorite in this race. He will swim out of lane 4. He is a swimmer from Japan, the Japanese national team. You see him bowing towards the blocks. That's one of their great national traditions. But yeah, it's going to be a very heavy club race for a lot of these local Canadian athletes. But you can hear the crowd get excited. I think what's one of the best parts, a lot of them have teammates here that are just so excited about getting to watch their team members race, the people that they train against every day, in a valuable nighttime swim under the lights with this kind of higher pressure environment than they're used to will bode very well for some of them looking towards their future.
Seems like there will be many races within the race here with the various qualifying times. In the middle of the pool, we'll keep an eye on Luke Kroon from the Netherlands, and beside him, Yuki Ikari from Japan. And then a field of Canadians who will be shooting for personal bests. And we are underway, 32 lengths of the pool in this men's 800-meter freestyle. By the way, the Canadian record held by the great Ryan Cochran, 7:38:44. If anyone could swim that here tonight, then we would, everyone in the building would be standing up.
And Ryan Cochran just celebrated a birthday yesterday, so happy birthday to Ryan. And yes, I think that record will still stand. Strong start here. No, out of lane 1. I think our leader, second place, but Lorne Wigginton with a great start to his race. The leader at the 50 is Sebastian Pollins.
Yeah, Lorne Wigginton, the 17-year-old, just turned this week, by the way. He swam the 400 IM heats this morning, so that's a good way to warm up, maybe. I don't know.
You know what? We saw Katie Ledecky go the 1500 and then about 10, 15 minutes later swim a lights-out tuna freestyle. So if she can do it, she's setting the tone for what everyone else is to expect.
Got to be in a great mental space. Pace yourself. Lorne Wigginton really pushing hard down here in lane 1. And then in the middle of the pool, we're watching Kroon and Ikari. Ikari in lane 4 from Japan, but he's a little bit off the pace right now. Suspect he knows exactly what he's doing. Kroon battling for the lead with Sebastian Pollins, the Canadian, up in lane 6.
And Pollins is the only Canadian club member to have come in with an entry time below 8 minutes. We're also seeing kind of a unique opportunity to watch the men's 800 freestyle. And at previous World Cups, it hasn't necessarily been the case. Last week, there was no defending Berlin champion because they actually swam the men's 1500 and the women's 800. So here, I talked to one of our FINA officials earlier tonight, and they just mentioned that it just gives the opportunity to swim different events at these World Cup events. So some of these swimmers are getting the chance to swim the 800 as a race that they don't necessarily get. And for those of you who aren't as familiar with the sport of swimming, it didn't used to be a men's event, and this World Championships in December is actually going to be the first short course worlds that is truly gender neutral. So that means that the 800 on both women and men will be raced, and then the 1500 for both the women and men will be raced as well. So this is a great kind of preparation stage for a lot of different nations.
Long time coming, but it feels like it's definitely the right thing. Really surprising here that Japan's Yuki Ikari, who came in with a personal qualifying time about 7 or 8 seconds faster than anyone else, is well off the pace there in lane 4. Right now the leaders are Luke Kroon, the 21-year-old Dutchman, and Sebastian Pollens, the 24-year-old Canadian. They are 1 and 2.
And this is a great opportunity for Sebastian to just stay as close as he can to Luke Kroon. And obviously we're talking about the experience over and over again, but if he can try to stay within this race and stay mentally strong, it is a strategic one. So a lot of the times you just have to have someone in the lane next to you or the lane across to you to challenge you throughout these laps. And it is a longer race, although not quite as long as a 1500. A lot of these distance specialists are actually probably glad it's an 800. It is still strategic, and you do have to be kind of cognizant about where your legs are at, not using too much of them early on. But it would be great and in his benefit to stay as close to the Dutchman in the lane beside him as he can.
I suppose for a sprinter, it would feel like an eternity. For a 1500-meter swimmer, it's like, a little walk in the park.
It's a sprint, for sure.
And the 5 and 10K open water swimmers, I suppose. But really, stroke for stroke, Kroon and Pollens. Kroon with the edge. Pollens, though, watching him. He'll turn the other way this time. Now Kroon will see where the Canadian is.
And they're 5.5 seconds under that 1 minute per 100 barrier. So right at the 400 turn there, that was halfway, and it's one of those easy barriers to keep an eye on. Obviously, I mentioned quickly Sebastian coming in with the only Canadian under 8 minutes before, but it's just a nice little point of reference every time you have 100 swum. So they are well under that 1 minute barrier per 100 pace over the halfway point.
And Luke Kroon is starting to open up a little bit more of a lead. Seems each length on Sebastian Pollens. But those two are really swimming away from the rest of the field. There's not much doubt about it. And Lorne Winnington down here in lane 1 is still having a pretty good swim. He's in 3rd place.
Yeah, it would be awesome if a couple Canadian men can get on a distance freestyle podium at this level. Really encouraging for the future of distance swimming. As you mentioned, the names like Ryan Cochran, we haven't really had a staple in the men's distance program since he retired after the 2016 games. So it would be awesome to have some up-and-coming athletes get a bit of confidence here tonight.
Pollens trying to move while the Dutch swimmer is looking the other way, turning. Still about a half a body length lead. Pollens stays under for a while, comes up. Knows where he is, maybe knows what he has to do. Still a ways to go. Winnington still in 3rd place, Wigington rather.
And Wigington is really picking up his legs already, which is awesome. He's got a smooth tempo. Youngster, like you mentioned, only 17 years of age and just had a birthday. So I would expect actually he has a bit left in his tank. That youthful energy. They don't tend to get nearly as tired as they are still pretty young. So I think he's looking pretty good here in the 3rd place position.
Less than 200 to go. He hit it at 5:51 in change, did Luke Kroon. And Sebastian Pollens is not letting the Dutch swimmer get away, but it is a little bit more, maybe 3/4 of a body length lead now.
Yeah, Pollens is staying nice and close. Kroon with a nice long tempo, really strong technique. He's going to have to be honest here for this final 200 because he's got a challenger right beside him.
And the swimmers in the lead, when they touch, they will have 5 laps of the pool to go. The top 2 continue to be Netherlands' Luke Kroon, the 21-year-old. Now he does have a body length lead on Sebastian Pollens. Pollens just kind of grabbing for his ankles. And 100 meters, less than 100 meters to go now.
And this is where the legs come in. So you see that white water behind them. This is the emptying of the tank, the giving it everything you have. Whatever you have left, you just leave it all in the pool.
Wigington is still sitting there in that third place position from lane number 1. And there will be 2 lengths of the pool to go. When Luke Kroon touches here, Pollins is now about 2 body lengths behind him, but on a good time. He came in with an 7:55 seed time, and he has a chance to kind of break that here. It's going to be tight, but here comes Luke Kroon from the Netherlands. Less than 10 meters to go in this 800-meter freestyle. He touches in 7:48.52, and a good time for Sebastian Pollins, and Wigington in third in 7:59. Check that, 7:51.59. Just about a second behind Pollins, so he really pushed hard at the end. 17-year-old Lord Wigington to get on the podium.
Yeah, that was an incredible race. Really proud of those young up-and-coming Canadians. Sebastian Pollins with a 7:50. It appears that his personal best before this was a 7:55. As mentioned, his entry time. He has done that, though, on the way to his best 1,500 time. So his best 1,500 time is 14:58, so that's the split going out. We saw similar for Katie Ledecky, almost breaking the world record on the first 800 of her 1,500. These events are still so new to the program for the men, and vice versa, the 1,500 for the women. So it isn't that uncommon that we see those split times becoming your kind of barrier to break in terms of personal bests, but an absolutely incredible swim there. And it's exciting to see him get to stand on a virtual podium. We're not going to actually watch the podium, but he'll get to stand there, do an interview with Chris, talk about how that felt, and hear the crowd cheering him on. And an absolutely great performance to get us started here for the first 2 events in Toronto on our last night. Oh, you can see that bell too. That bell lap is like music to your distance swimmer ears. It means that you only have 150 or a long course of 100 to go. So that's kind of your reminder that your counting is hopefully in the spot, an accurate spot that it was. And you can just absolutely leave everything you have in the pool and you're almost there.
So Luke Kroon, the winner, followed by Canadian Sebastian Pollins, followed by Canadian Lorne Wigington. We will have no interview with those athletes, and they will slot in with some of the other racers who went earlier today in the timed final as well.
Yeah, it looks like Luke might actually not be our champion, so it is a time final event, so it's an interesting kind of lay of the land. It's rare that we do have the winner come from the morning, but every race is just as capable of taking a strong time, and we just saw that happen. So Luke Kroon actually taking 2nd place there.
Bit of a surprise
100-meter butterfly final.
Next event in the pool
In lane 8
is the women's 100-meter butterfly, a highlight for Canadians. We will begin with Australia's Brittany Castelluzzo, represents the Tea Tree Gully Swim Club. I love that. She was named to the Australian Dolphins for the upcoming World Championship in Melbourne.
And Cameron, as you can see, representing the Calgary Swim Club, only 16 years old. She was a member of that Canadian Junior Pan Pac team as well.
United States of America, Linnea Mack.
Linnea Mack, 26 from San Jose, California, stands 6 feet tall. She studied geography while swimming at the University of California, Los Angeles.
Danielle Hannes.
And Danielle is swimming for the Richmond Rapids Swim Club, 24 years of age, from Newmarket, Ontario. She was a member of Team Canada for the 2019 Pan Am Games.
Canada, Catherine Savard.
Catherine Savard's been on the podium already this weekend. She was 3rd in the 200-meter butterfly for the 3-time Olympian, 29 years young.
Representing Brazil, Giovanna Dominic Diamante.
And Giovanna is from Sao Paulo, Brazil, finished 4th here in the 200 fly and was also a finalist earlier in the 200 free.
For Canada, Maggie McNeil.
There's Maggie McNeil now swimming for the LSU Tigers. That was Shaq's alma mater, by the way. She's already won the 50 back and the 50 butterfly, and 2nd in the 50 free this weekend.
Louise Hansen.
Louise Hansen, former Toronto Titan. She represents Sweden. She was out under world record pace at the 75-meter mark this morning. And you've got to think this is going to be a race between lanes 4 and 5. She was a runner-up to McNeil at the Short Course Worlds less than a year ago, and there was only 6/100ths of a second separating the two. So talk about a duel in the pool. I think we're setting up for a really exciting one. McNeil is just excited to be home, really in a good spot with her current new training environment, studying towards her master's degree in sport management at, as you mentioned, LSU. A 3-time Olympic medalist. She is the current Canadian record holder. That time is set 55:04, but we're also on world record watch, so that time to keep an eye out for, held by Kelsey Daly of the U.S., 54:59.
Keep that number in mind, 54:59. It was set just about a year ago. Bang into the blocks goes Maggie McNeil, and she'll look to bang out of the blocks shortly. Women's 100-meter butterfly, 4 lengths of the pool. We look in the middle. Maggie McNeil is in lane 5. Louise Hansen off to a wicked start in lane 4.
Yeah, Hansen looking so strong. Like I mentioned, it was her front end speed this morning that really put her statement that she wants to come out here and contend for the world record.
Hansen,
but that turn for Maggie McNeil was absolutely outstanding, and she's been on fire in her yard season so far.
And she turns just behind, 1200ths behind, but I think she's going to come out ahead. Of course, Hansen's so much taller. If it comes down to a reach at the end, it'll be tight.
Now with 1 length to go. It's McNeil slightly in
Maggie
front of
McNeil,
Hansen.
Louise Hansen, neck and neck here in this women's 100-meter butterfly. Maggie McNeil, the Olympic champion, trying to hold on. Is she going to get there? Yes, she does. McNeil in a World Cup record time of 54:78. Hansen second, just over 55 seconds. And in third place, the Brazilian Dominique Diamante. And Maggie McNeil busts out a sub-55 and goes 54:78.
And yes, so close to that world record. She is now bettered her Canadian record. So the first ever Canadian to be under 55 seconds, as you mentioned. A World Cup record. Absolutely incredible for Maggie McNeil. She just recently won the Anoff Award for the best female athlete at the Tokyo Olympic Games in 2021. Phenomenal performances there, phenomenal performances at last year's World Championships, and we see again more phenomenal performances here at the World Cup.
Maggie McNeil with just a dynamite turn, and then another great second turn. And then she just came home so strong. There you see it, 54:78. That's a new Canadian record. It's a new World Cup record. And Maggie McNeil is on top, ahead of Hansen and Dominique Diamante, with Katrin Savard in for 4th place, the Canadian in 57:68 ahead of Linnea Mack.
Toronto, we're standing by with our top 3 in the women's 100 butterfly, a World Cup record for your winner, Maggie McNeil, here tonight. Maggie, great swim, and how great is it to come in here and be able to race against a world-class field in Toronto?
It's so great, and it's so important, and it's great that we're doing it in Toronto, and I want to thank the crowd, and they've been just amazing.
So coming into tonight, Louise had a phenomenal swim this morning, over a second faster than the field. Did you change your strategy any coming in to tonight's final?
I don't think so. I think I like to stick to my own strategy, but Louise is such a great competitor, so I knew she'd be going out in the first 50, so I just want to try to stay with her on that.
Well, congratulations on your win and the World Cup record. Louise, a great swim here tonight, second behind Maggie, but you got to be pretty happy with your performances so far here in Toronto.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy with that. That was the best time for me. Of course, I wanted to be up there and challenge Maggie. I know it was going to be a tough race, but yeah, happy with the best time.
Well, congratulations, and Giovanna, third in a fantastic race here tonight. Got to be pretty excited about your performances. And what's next for you? Are you going to come down to Indy with us?
Thank you so much. I'm really happy. Yes, I'm going to come back to Indianapolis. And I just want to say muito obrigada ao Esporte Clube Pinheiros pela oportunidade de estar aqui competindo. É isso, obrigada. Thank you.
Congratulations to our top 3 and your World Cup record holder, Maggie McNeil.
Impressive indeed. I'm not sure what she said in Portuguese, Dominique Diamante, but sounded impressive as well.
Well, can we just talk about the height difference between these two? I just love this sport for that exact reason, that it's no cookie cutter height or body type, but there's so many different types of swimmers and all of them equally fast or different levels of success, but it really looks different ways for everyone. And so Maggie really uses the power and Louise obviously uses that height to her advantage.
Well said. Next event in the pool, the men's 50-meter butterfly. There'll be a Canadian in the field, and we will see him right out of the gate here. He'll be in lane 8. Josh Leando, swimming at the University of Florida. The Gators training in the same pool with Caleb Dressel. A couple of individual medals at the short course World Championships last year and a couple at the World Championship this year in Hungary.
Yeah, and Martinez has an older sister, Imelda, who competed at the 2008 Olympic Games, and his dream was always to follow in her footsteps. It came true as he qualified for the Tokyo 2020 Games 13 years later.
For Italy, Thomas Chekon.
Thomas Chekon, we've been seeing him a lot this weekend, the 6'6" swimmer out of Italy. A couple of Olympic relay medals to his credit. He's been on the podium twice already in Toronto this weekend.
And talk about podium. Matthew Temple was second here in the 100 fly. He's the Australian national champion in this event and has 2 Olympic bronze medals as a member of Australian relay teams.
Takeshi Kawamoto.
Takeshi Kawamoto is 27. He was just off the podium in the 100 free. He finished in 4th place. He'll try to correct that here in the 50 butterfly.
And Chad was in the 2021 Guinness Book of World Records under the accomplishment most gold medals won in the FINA Swimming World Cups for males. So there you go. At the end of 2021, he had 146, and he's got a lot more now.
Speaking of medals, there's a 6-time Olympic medalist, Kyle Chalmers. He's already been on the podium twice, first in the 100 free and third in the 50 free.
Dylan Carter.
And here's the man to beat, Dylan Carter. He seems to have mastered the 50 splash and dash in pretty much every stroke other than breaststroke throughout this World Cup circuit. He is going to be someone to keep an eye out for. He will have lane 4, as I mentioned. He won this event in Berlin a week ago with a time of 22:13. Has looked very strong here in Toronto, so I expect nothing less than the best here in the duel in the pool.
Indeed, Dylan Carter. His only blemish on the weekend was 4th in the 100 free, but he's been dynamite in the 50s, won the back and the freestyle. Won this event last week in Berlin. He's going to have lots of money to train in. Whose hat? He's wearing
Beryl Castadello's. There you go. He's representing France tonight.
He's wearing Beryl Castadello's hat, their swim cap. Men's 50-meter butterfly, just 2 lengths of the pool. Carter in lane 4, Chalmers in lane 5. Leclos is on this side of the yellow lines in lane 3.
And you can see these swimmers don't even take a breath when it comes to a 50. It's too quick, got to keep that head down.
Dylan Carter coming out with a slight lead. Can he get there again? Yes, he can. Carter, then Leclos, then Chekon, shutting Kyle Chalmers out of the medals. But nobody's shutting out Dylan Carter. 22-28, he wins again. It's a hat trick, back-to-back weekends.
Absolutely outstanding performance this year, and talk about consistency, but he just looks like he understands how to get up and race and put in a good performance across all of these World Cup events. He, like I mentioned, did not take a breath, so you can see his head nice and low to the water. That's aerodynamic and creating as limited amount of drag as he possibly can. Chad Leclos has worked a lot on that over the years. He used to have his head up looking around the pool, but now understands that importance of those couple 100ths of a second. So great there performances. 3 world-class names, or 4 or 5. Keep going down the list. That was a really, really deep field there for a men's sprint event.
22-28, the winning time, about a half second off the world record set by Nicolas Santos from Brazil. He said it a couple of times, in fact. But Dylan Carter is the class of the field yet again. He takes it. Chad Leclos with another podium result for him. That's his 3rd of the weekend.
We're now standing by with our top 3 in that men's 50 butterfly. What a race. Dylan Carter, another win. You won all 3 stroke 50s in Berlin. You've won all 3 stroke 50s here. 50 free, 50 back, 50 fly. great performances so far for you.
Yeah, I'm stoked on that. Again, it's an honor to race some of the best in the world here with these boys. It was really fun tonight. We have a great crowd here in Toronto, so it's been good.
I got to ask you about your cap. Did something happen in the ready room? You had to swap it out for one of your friends on another team?
No, it's just a shout out to a good friend of mine.
Well, congratulations on the win here tonight. Chad Leclos second here in the 50 fly. You're not really known so much for your 50 speed anymore. The 200s used to be your best event, but you really closed hard last night in that last 50. Did that set you up for tonight in the 50 fly?
No, absolutely. I've been working hard on my speed. You know, I've been struggling the last couple of years with that, but like Dill said, it's a great pleasure racing the best in the world. You know, I think Dill's probably the favorite for the world title at the end of the year, so to be just behind him for now is very, very good, and he's a good buddy of mine, and of course with Thomas, you know, he's a stud too, so thank you very much.
Congrats, Chad. And Thomas Chacon, third spot here tonight. A great race in this men's 50 fly, and you said last night how much you were enjoying Toronto. This just must be a bit of icing on the cake.
Yeah, that's not my best time, but I'll take it.
Well, congratulations to all three, and your champion here tonight, Dylan Carter, in the men's 50 butterfly.
Should mention that Canadian Josh Liendo finished in 5th place in that race.
It's an improvement from this morning. We haven't gotten to talk too much about Liendo this weekend as he's struggled a little to get the podium. You could think he's in some pretty hard training at the University of Florida. It's a bit of a tough transition your first year at a new program, but like you said, getting to train with Caleb Dressel every day is a pretty amazing feat to get to do.
Next event in the pool, the women's 200-meter backstroke, and this will be a Canadian battle in the middle of the pool. We will start, though, with El Salvador's Carmen Marquez, swims for Nova Southeastern University in Davie, Florida. They're the Sharks in NCAA Division II.
And she represents the Grand Prairie Piranhas, 16 years of age. She got under the 210 barrier this morning to get a spot in this big championship final.
7, representing Philippines, Chloe Islita.
Chloe Islita getting a lane here for the Philippines. She'll be racing out of lane number 7, trying to better that time of 2:08 and change.
Kira Toussaint, former world record holder in the 50 back, very strong short course swimmer, well known for her underwaters, trains out of the University of Tennessee.
Representing Canada, Ingrid Wilm.
Western Canadian Ingrid Wilm will look for another podium result. She was 3rd in the 50 back, 3rd in the 100 back, and she was 3rd in this event last weekend in Berlin, a regular on the podium.
Beta Nelson.
Beta Nelson, the champion from last week in this event. We've also seen her top the podium so far here in Toronto. Very strong 3rd, 50.
Well, I guess it's almost getting to the point where people know exactly who Summer McIntosh is. She was first winning the 400 free, second fastest time ever, and won the 400 IM as well.
And Kylie Moss, the Canadian record holder in this event, both short course and long course. Runner-up in both the 50 and 100 back so far here in Toronto. So you got to think she's going to put that extra deep push to try to get on top of the podium for this home crowd. Fun little story about Kylie, actually, that she had her alumni banquet last night for the University of Toronto, and after finals made an appearance to kind of show face and see some of her friends and celebrate all of their achievements at U of T. So really great to see all of these athletes, very well-rounded, understand the importance of being a strong student, a strong athlete, and a strong friend. And I know Kylie is as humble and as amazing of a teammate as they come, so really great to see her involved. There we see Summer and Kira Toussaint. Summer, as you mentioned, McIntosh, this is a fun race for us to get to watch her do because we're always seeing her in the freestyle and IM, but we can never count her out of a race, and I'm sure she has everyone else a little bit worried about what she's capable of doing in this backstroke.
Women's 200-meter backstroke is underway. Kylie Moss was 1.4 seconds faster than anyone else this morning. It'll be 8 lengths to the pool. Moss gets a great start in lane 4. Summer McIntosh trying to stay with her.
Beta Nelson really, really long underwaters, and we saw that in the 100 distance, but it's Kylie that beats her above the pool, and it's Beta that beats her below the water, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that. It was Beta Nelson, who I mentioned quickly, had a really strong 3rd 50, so Kylie's going to want to stay in the mix for the 3rd 50 and bring it home on the 4th.
So it is Beta Nelson leading, and she Watch this turn. Beta Nelson in lane 3. Watch how long she stays under. Maas is already up. Nelson's down. Finally comes up out of the water, and she's got the lead. Summer McIntosh is sitting in 3rd place. And right now it is Ingrid Wilm in 4th. They get to 100 meters in 58.44, halfway through this race. Still Beta Nelson of the U.S.
And they're under world record pace at the 100. So not only is this a great race shaping up for Beta, but keep in mind Kylie's also putting together a very strong performance here in lane 4.
Again, it is Beta Nelson. Now it's about a half a body length lead as she comes up out of the water. The battle for 3rd place is real as well between Canadians McIntosh and Wilm. And with less than 50 meters to go, Beta Nelson of the U.S. leading at 1:29.13. And she is really flying here. Summer McIntosh trying to stay there in 3rd place. Kira Toussaint trying to challenge as well from lane 2, and so is Ingrid Wilm. But it is Beta Nelson with the final 25 meters to go here, and she is in great shape. And the American is about to touch the wall in 2:00.50. So it is about a second and change off of world record pace. McIntosh is 3rd, but it is Kylie Maas 2nd. So Nelson, Maas, and McIntosh 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, and a great race here for the 3rd night after a long competition, after another long competition, and getting geared up for another long competition. Although these meets are quick, they're only 3 days. That's a lot of racing to pack into just a couple days. I want to make note there of Summer McIntosh's performance as well. 2:02 in the 200 backstroke, a race that she's maybe only ever swam once or twice in her whole career. Well, I mean, she's so young still that I don't know what we even consider, but I think this is amazing to show for her talent across the board. It's a really good stepping stone for her 400 IM, but who knows, maybe in a couple of years we'll see her swimming this event internationally. I know Kylie's probably looking over saying, really, Summer, you had to do the 200 backstroke. But for now, Kylie's still got her beat. 2:02.21 there for Kylie, a strong swim, a whole second faster than she was a week ago. So that's a great performance there for Maas. And of course, Beta Nelson, I believe that's right around her personal best time, but almost under that 2-minute barrier. Looked to tire a little bit in the last 50, but was under world record pace for a good majority of that race.
Beta Nelson 2 seconds faster than she was last
Standing by
week.
now with your top 3 in that women's 200 backstroke. What a race. Beta Nelson, 19.6 points to add to your total here in Toronto, and under world record pace through the 100, just off by a tenth of the 150. Was it your strategy to go out fast tonight?
Yeah, I really wanted to push it. Great field of ladies and good opportunity to be here, so wanted to get after it, hold on to it for as long as I could. I'm happy with the swim.
Is that $10,000 incentive for winning the same event in 3 different cities kind of right in the back of your mind right now?
I'm not really thinking about that. We got another stop to go, so I'm just trying to race, be competitive, enjoy this experience, and if that comes along with it, I'll be happy. If not, still enjoying the process.
Well, congratulations on your win here tonight. Kylie Maas, 2nd overall here in the 200 backstroke. Great to be able to come in here, as we talked about, racing in Toronto, your hometown, or in home province of Ontario, and racing against some of the best in the world.
Yeah, it's incredible, not just in this event, but obviously this entire field of athletes that came to Toronto is really, really deep and really amazing. So we're really fortunate to have such great competition coming to Canada.
Congratulations, Kylie, and Summer McIntosh, 3rd here tonight in the 200 backstroke. Congratulations. What made you decide to swim the 200 back? Is that an event you're going to sort of focus on a little bit more going forward?
I'm not too sure. I was just really excited to do kind of a different event for me tonight and see where I can place, and overall I'm really happy with my race.
Well, congratulations to all top 3 here in the women's 200 backstroke, but your winner, Beta Nelson of the United States of America.
Nice job. Another win for Beta Nelson and another podium result for Summer McIntosh. Her 3rd of the weekend. We'll see her again in the 200 IM shortly. Next event in the pool, the men's 100-meter backstroke. And Kasper Stajkowski of Poland ripped a time under 50 seconds in the heats this morning, so it'll be interesting to see how he does. Let's meet the field. From Puerto Rico, the national record holder, Yeziel Morales, 26 years of age. He's been on the national team for a decade. His record, 51-8-1.
Armin Lil.
And Armin is the Estonian national team member here, representing his country, 5th so far in Toronto in the 200 backstroke.
Czech Republic, Thomas Franta.
Tomáš Franta, the 24-year-old, holds a couple of Czech records, including in the 100-meter back long course. We'll see what he can do here in the short course.
Representing United States of America, Shane Casas.
So don't be fooled that Casas is out in lane 2. He will be the one to beat here tonight. Already won the 100 and 200 IM here, in addition to the 200 back.
States of America, Justin Rees.
Justin Rees, the 25-year-old American, on the podium in the 50 back, and a gold medalist at this year's World Championships in the 50 back
Canada,
as well, long course.
Javier Acevedo.
And Javi was one of my teammates as well at the University of Georgia, breaking the the Canadian record in this event a week ago. I'm sure he wants to break that world record one day. At the Berlin stop, his time 50.16.
Coleman Stewart.
Coleman Stewart of the U.S. He's been just off the podium a couple of times. He'll try to fix that. He was 4th in the 50 back and 4th in the 100 fly.
And Casper and Javi Acevedo have had this little rivalry going throughout the weekend. He is staying with Javi at his home this week, and he said he's ready for revenge here tonight after the Canadian edged him out in 200. So he was the only swimmer this morning under 50 seconds. That is under Javi's best time, but as you saw, Acevedo has just been having the biggest smile on his face throughout the week, loving racing, loving this pool, loving Toronto crowds, also loving this World Cup professional lens that is new to the swimming world, relatively new to the swimming world. But yeah, Casas last week was 49.54. Thomas Chekon, who's actually not in it, was the runner-up, so we saw him earlier tonight in another stroke, so obviously a versatile one as well. But Acevedo actually was just tied for the podium with his Canadian record time last week, so he's going to want to stay into that hardware conversation.
So keep your eye on lane 2, Casas, and of course the middle of the pool, Stewart and Stelkowski. Stelkowski had that 49.9 time, the only one under 50 seconds in the morning heats. Feels like a race that 4 or 5 could win.
Yeah, we definitely have to keep an eye on bottom of our screen, Shane Casas in lane 2 to get out fast.
Men's 100-meter backstroke is underway. 4 lengths of the pool. Keep your eye on lane 2. Shane Casas, he won last week in Berlin. He might just have a lead here as they flip for the first turn.
Yeah, he was a little bit long from the wall there, but still way faster than anyone else in the field to get him into first. The rest of the group is trying to catch up as we go towards the halfway mark.
Shane Casas touches halfway in 23.33. 12 hundredths under the world record time. He is absolutely flying out of lane 2, Shane Casas. And the challenge, Javi Acevedo looks pretty good, but the middle of the pool, Stelkowski had the only time under 50 this morning, and it is Casas who's gonna touch here, and 48.84 World Cup record, second to Stewart, and Stelkowski gets third from Poland. Shane Casas' time, 48.84, and he just ripped another because he's been just shining all weekend here in Toronto. That is his 4th victory.
Absolutely outstanding swim, like you mentioned, from start to finish. New World Cup record. He still has another one of these stops to come, which is really encouraging for him as a professional swimmer, relatively new. I think he only went pro about a year or 2 ago, so still kind of trying to find his spot on the international stage, but obviously doing very, very well so far. Shout out to Javi Acevedo there, just 2 100ths slower than his Canadian record time last week, also just shy of the podium. You see Shane Casas on your screen stays really far to that one lane rope. And the reason for that is that he knew the fastest competitors were on the other side of him. So he wanted to make sure they weren't getting dragged off of him and the momentum that he was working so hard to build. There's a little bit that kind of comes with each swimmer as they come, and you don't want to pull your competitors along with you.
Great point. So Americans 1 and 2. Stoikowski just over 50 here. He gets third. And Azevedo, you see that 50.18. That's just 200ths, as Brittany said, off the Canadian record that he set last week in Berlin. But it is a World Cup record for Shane Casas, and he wins back-to-back in the 100-meter backstroke. His 4th victory of the weekend. Amazing.
Winner here tonight, Shane Casas. Congratulations, your 2nd World Cup record of the meet here, breaking one last night, another one tonight, and you stay at the top of the standings on the money list here in Toronto. Got to be pretty happy with your performance.
Yeah, it's great. You know, can't really be mad with first, so I'll just take that and just keep building into the next up.
Were you eyeing that record here tonight? Was it in the back of your mind, or was it just about winning the race and keeping that streak going?
I mean, like I said yesterday, I just want to swim fast.
Well, congratulations on the win here tonight. Coleman coming in to race against these guys. Obviously, you're not shaved or tapered for this meet, but pretty fun to race short course meters up here in Toronto.
Absolutely. It's been a long time since I've raced short course meters, so to do it in front of the Canadian crowd has been awesome so far. Well, yeah.
Well, thanks for coming up. And Casper, a great heat swim this morning, under 50. Coming back tonight, did you do anything special to try and prepare for this evening after that performance this morning?
I mean, it's been a minute since I raced short course meters. Coming off yards, it's a little bit harder, but I enjoy swimming at this pool. It's very fast. Also, the crowd is really entertaining. Thank you so much, guys.
Congratulations. Your winner here tonight is Shane Casas and a new World Cup record in the men's 100 back.
And they're all thanking the crowd, but the crowd are all just over there trying to get autographs on all of their clothing items, anything anyone brought. Those of you who can't see on the screen, there's a ton of local club team members here in Toronto trying to make the most of this international stage and getting any autograph they possibly can.
Next event in the pool, the women's 50-meter breaststroke, and the world record held by Aaliyah Atkinson from Jamaica, the World Cup record as well. 28.56 her time, but we have got some powerful swimmers in this race. We'll start with lane 8, Eloise Allen, 18 years of age, the Canadian. Will try to better her time of 31.48 that she swam this morning.
In lane 1, representing Canada, Catherine Ivanov.
And Catherine is in her 2nd year at the University of Hawaii, originally from London, Ontario, just down the road.
And she has her
in lane
foot
7 for United States of America,
which is interesting.
Annie Lazor.
Annie Lazor, bronze medalist in Tokyo in the 200-meter breaststroke at the Olympic Games.
In 2, representing Canada, Sophie Angus.
So Sophie was the Canadian 2022 national champion in the 100 breaststroke, which got her a spot on the national team swimming at the Long Course Worlds this past summer and the Commonwealth
6,
Games.
representing Brazil,
Anna Carolina Vieira just turned 21. A couple of silver breaststroke medals at the South American Games earlier this month. Just missed the gold by 100th in the 50 breast.
Gorbenko.
And here is Gorbenko, the reigning world short course champion in this event. She comes in with a time of 29.34, which if she can get close to, will be tough to beat here tonight.
Ruta Melutite.
29.91 she went in the heats, which was just 100ths off the fastest time. She's already got a win here this weekend.
States of America, Lily King.
And Lily last night was the runner-up to Melutite in the 100 breast final, which was a very close race. You know Lily always is out there looking for revenge, and that'll make this one a really exciting race tonight. She's the 2016 Olympic champion. She trains out of Indiana and is very much looking forward to next week, the World Cup that is in her hometown. So I think this race is another one we have to keep an eye on the world record mark. And the reason why I say that is Ruta Melutite actually went 28.60 last week in Berlin, only 4/100ths of a second off of that world record mark set, as you mentioned, by Aaliyah Atkinson. So she was stronger and faster yesterday in the 100 than she was in Berlin. So that bodes pretty well for her race here. That's at a lane 5 beside King in lane 4.
So Melutite, there you see in lane 5, will try to better that time, 28.56. Lily King may have something to say about it as well. We think the race will be in the middle of the pool, but keep an eye on Gorbenko in lane 3, the reigning short course world champion. Just 2 lengths of the pool, women's 50-meter breaststroke. And let's see who comes out of the water first. It looks like Miliotite in lane number 5.
And she is so strong off the blocks, which makes this 50 very hard to beat. And she was definitely your leader at the 25.
In 13.2, Lily King will try to reel her in, but right now it is Miliotite. Here comes Lily King. The wall approaching. Here they come. Miliotite in 28.96. It is just off the world record by 0.4 of a second, but it is a strong time. Miliotite first, Lily King second, and Gorbenko gets third. The athlete from Israel, but it is Miliotite who wins her second race in Toronto. Lily King gets her second place result. She's got to win too, though.
Yeah, absolutely, and another strong performance there for Miliotite. It was the power of the blocks, and you can see not the best from that angle, but she was definitely the first one to get the surface of the water and the farthest off it. You can see in the underwater, the swimmers are allowed 1 butterfly kick and then into the rest of their breaststroke pull out. And this is such a power-based race. So they look like this is so smooth through the water, but it is all about arm strength and length strength in this 50 breaststroke. If I knew more about it, I would have been a breaststroker. Sadly, I wasn't. This race was a close one still. 0.2 of a second separating the Lithuanian and the American, but very strong. We'll hear what they have to say.
Miliotite, the win here tonight, also winning the 100 here in Toronto. It's been a great weekend for you so far here at the FINA Swimming World Cup.
Yeah, for sure. It's been really, really good. Yeah.
Is it exciting to see some support in the crowd? I know there's some Lithuanian flags up there, and it's great to have people come out and show their support here in Toronto.
Yeah, I always appreciate it very much, and it's nice to see all those Lithuanian flags. It's really cool, yeah.
Congratulations on the win here tonight. Lily, winner of the 200 here in Toronto, second here in the 50. It's great to be able to come in and race. We've talked about racing so much, but just to be able to race against some of the best in the world, it's a pretty awesome experience.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's why I do the sports, for the racing. That's the fun part. So it's been great to be here and get some early season racing in.
If you had to pick one of the 50, the 100, or the 200 breaststroke, what's your favorite to race?
Well, I won the 200, so I should probably say that, but probably racing the 100 with this girl right here.
Well, we'll see you next week in Indy as we have some great experience down there. And our third place winner here, Anastasia Gorbenko from Israel. Congratulations. Are you happy with the time here tonight?
I'm okay with the time. It's not that good, but I'm happy be here with these amazing girls and compete against them. And it's my first time in Canada, and I'm really happy to be here.
Well, thank you for coming. Welcome to Canada. Thank you for your racing here tonight. Congratulations, your champion, Ruta Miliotite.
Pretty impressive comeback from retirement. Miliotite, and now chasing, we would think, Paris in 2024. Could she get another Olympic gold? Well, we'll find out in a year and 3 quarters, I guess.
Yeah, I just love hearing all of these athletes either being excited to be in Canada or thanking the Canadian fans. So just so special to hear, and it's amazing to see international swimming coming to this city.
In lane 8,
next event in the pool, the men's 200-meter breaststroke. We will begin with Hong Kong swimmer Adam Mac-Sating, just 16 years young, bronze at this year's World Junior Championships in Peru.
China, Adam Chillingworth.
So 2 Hong Kong national team members in this race. He has done most of his training and swimming out of the UK. His family left Hong Kong when he was 14 and has since swam for GB.
Reese Whitley.
American Reese Whitley has a podium result. He was third in the 100-meter breaststroke. This is twice the distance for the 22-year-old American.
Representing Netherlands, Casper Corbo.
And Corbo represents the Netherlands and trains out of the University of Texas. Runner-up here in the 50 and the 100. We'll look to improve upon that here.
Representing United States of America,
another
Charlie
strong
Swanson.
American racer, Charlie Swanson, 24. Had a time of 2:06.54 earlier today.
And already had to do the 400 AM tonight. That's a tough double. Nick Vink won this event in Berlin, and he was back in 5th with 50 to go. So we know that he can never count him out of a race. He is a very strong sprinter and distance breaststroker.
Andreas Sidlauskas from Lithuania. Could we have back-to-back wins by Lithuanian
And in
athletes
lane
after
4,
Miliotite did it moments
Brazil,
ago? We'll see.
Sal Pamputas.
And Sal is a Brazilian that posted the fastest qualifying time this morning, earning in the
This is
spot in the middle of the pool
200-meter
tonight.
breaststroke final.
Fink won the Short Course Worlds in this event, so you got to see him as the potential favorite out in lane number 3 for the U.S. It will be a close race, though, as I mentioned. Although he won the Berlin World Cup stop, he only won by 1/100th of a second, and he was 5th, like I mentioned, with a 50 to go. So definitely we'll see where he's at in his training. This is what's considered the distance breaststroke event. He did swim this as an Olympian in the Tokyo 2020 Games, so he knows how to do the distance breaststrokes. But he said as he gains valuable experience through the sport and balances school and swimming, he's kind of falling forward in the sense where it's still enjoyable for him and he's still breaking personal bests, so why not keep this up?
Sidlauskas in 5. Pamputas in 4. Fastest qualifier. But Nick Fink has already won both of the breaststroke events here and won this event last weekend. Men's 200-meter breaststroke underway, 8 lengths to the pool of this very technical swim. And remember, Nick Fink is on this side of the yellow lines in lane 3.
And yeah, I mentioned Fink because you can't count him out. I think I just counted only 4 strokes of breaststroke on that first 25, so he had some experience in both short course yards and long course meters. Short course meters he's gotten familiar with on the ISL stage, and of course he's the reigning short course world champion, so we cannot count him out, but he stays nice and relaxed opening a 200 breaststroke, not getting his tempo too high, nice strong glide through the water, staying very dynamic, very aerodynamic, but getting quite a lot of power.
We don't want to forget about the Dutch swimmer Casper Corbo. Already twice this weekend he was second to Nick Fink in both the 50 and 100 breast, and he is hanging with them here as well. He is in lane 2 on this side of Nick Fink. And look way up at the top, Reese Whitley is challenging out of lane 7. And they are halfway through in 59.54.
And this is a strategic race similar to what we talked about in the 400 IM, but everyone has a different race strategy. This is where Fink is going to start to make his move, but don't count him out until the final 25. Still looking very strong in lane 2. Casper Corbeau has the lead with 75 to go.
Corbeau was at 1:15.46 at 125 meters. Here comes Nick Fink. He is trying to take over the lead, and in lane 4, Pamputas is looking strong as well. It is still Corbeau slightly ahead with 50 meters to go.
What an exciting race here shaping up as the last breaststroke contention here in Toronto. It's a race between the 3 superstars in 4, 3, and 2.
And the final turn, Nick Fink with an 0.08 of a second lead, trying to hold on there in lane 3. He's increasing his cadence now. Nick Fink is moving ahead, and Fink is going to get to the wall first in 2:03.78. Then Corbeau, for the 3rd straight time, finishes second, and Pamputas comes through for 3rd place.
And a great performance there for Fink. We're going to see his, I'm not sure what that was, a 3. Maybe he's going for the triple. But apparently he's got a secret sign that we're not too well aware of yet. Honored to be one of Nick's past teammates, another one of those that's just a super hard worker and understands the value of, putting in a ton of effort in this sport. Great race there, though. 2 seconds faster than he was in Berlin. So we'll hear in his interview, but I think he's got to be happy with that time for this point in the season, and we'll look to improve upon it in Indianapolis. This is something that can get quite repetitive, swimming breaststroke races over and over again, but it's something he's truly enjoying doing. And he had really close contention, just like he did last week. It was only 1/100th that separated him last week. Today it was about 0.2 of a second, 0.3 of a second, but between 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, 0.4 of a second. So really strong racing here to kind of get close to the end of our session here in Toronto.
So Reese Whitley just misses out on the podium, but Nick Fink takes his 3rd straight win in Toronto. It's a hat trick for him. Fink, Corbeau also gets his 3rd straight second, and Pamputas is on the podium as well.
Winner tonight of the men's 200 breaststroke, Nick Fink from the United States of America. Nick, you win the 50, the 100, and the 200 here in Toronto. A great sweep and a great result here for you at this meet in Toronto.
Yeah, I'm tired. These guys were coming after me, and I just had to get my hand on the wall first and really try to complete the sweep because that was the goal. So
there's only 3/10 between you guys at the 150. Did you know where they were? Obviously, you could see them on either side of you.
Oh yeah. No, I knew where they were, and I knew they were gonna come back pretty good. So I had to be aware.
Congratulations on your win here tonight for Nick Fink. Casper Corbo second here in the 200 breaststroke. You were out fast. You were leading the way through the 100, and then these guys crept back up on you. Could you feel them coming on, or were you just trying to stay in your own lane and get your hand on the wall?
I usually just try to take it out fast and hang on. I knew those guys were good closers, so he ended up getting me in the end, but I'm just happy to be here. It was a good swim.
Congratulations on your second place finish. Siel Pamputis, third place here tonight in the 200 breaststroke. Are you happy with that time and your experience in Toronto?
Yeah, I'm really happy with the time. I'm happy with the race with these guys, really nice, and enjoying my time here in Toronto. Thank you.
Congratulations, and Nick, you're now second on the leaderboard for the money here in Toronto with that swim. Congratulations, your champion, Nick Fink, in the men's 200 breaststroke.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's humbling is hearing, I'm just really tired, and on a Sunday night of a competition, there's nothing that feels better than knowing your last race is done and it's over with, and you can go back, have a good meal, and recover because there's more racing to come. But it feels really good knowing you've left it all in the pool.
And we know the swimmers are going to leave it all in the pool here in this next event, women's 100-meter freestyle, the world record held by Kate Campbell of Australia.
Ana Carolina Vieira.
Brazil's Ana Carolina Vieira, her second race of the night. We saw her in the 50 breaststroke just a short time ago.
In lane 1,
she'll be racing out of lane 8.
France, Beryl Gastadello.
And Beryl is actually a third-generation Olympian, so the Gastadello family held in high regard in the France swimming community. Here we've seen her win the 100 IM and come second in the 50 fly.
Looked like Beryl had her own cap on as well, by the way. Erica Brown of the U.S., a real good sprinter. She'll be racing here out of lane number 7.
Meg Harris.
And Meg Harris swam the second leg of the Aussie 4x100 freestyle relay in Tokyo, which broke the world record en route to Olympic goals.
In 6 for Australia, Madison Wilson.
Madison Wilson was second last week in this event to Siobhan Haughey in Berlin. Just 0.4 of a second behind her.
Hong Kong, China, Siobhan Haughey.
So we're going to have to keep a close eye on Siobhan. She is no stranger to the top of the podium. Reigning short course world champion in this event, Berlin champion in this event,
Canada,
and the 200 free
Maggie
champion from last night.
And how about a speedy Canadian to challenge her, Maggie McNeil. We just saw her a short time ago win
And
her
in lane
main
4,
event, the
representing
butterfly, the
Poland,
100. She'll try the free now.
And Kasia Wasik, 4-time Olympian, having represented Poland in 2008, 2012, 2016,
is the women's
and 2020, which is very impressive at only 30 years of age. This year is actually her first year competing in the World Cup circuit, and I'd say it's going pretty well for her so far. She also holds a Bachelor of Psychology from the University of Southern California. She'll be taking lane 4, but like you mentioned, on both sides of her, she's got Siobhan Haughey, the reigning short course world champion in this event, and like I mentioned yesterday, won the 200 free. And then we have Maggie McNeil, which although we know her more for her butterfly abilities, she is very strong in the freestyle event. She was on the Canadian relays in the 4x100 free and some of the mixed medley events. So keep an eye out for lane 5 as well.
Certainly seems like the middle of the pool, lanes 3, 4, 5, and 6. Who knows who else could challenge? Women's 100-meter freestyle, 4 lengths of the pool. Katarina Waszek had the fastest qualifying time at 52.17. She is in lane 4. And touching first is Waszek in 11.7.
And Beryl Gastadello getting out with very strong speed as well. She was just off the podium last week in Berlin with a 4th place finish, but she has a very natural front end.
Here comes Siobhan Haughey, though. She might be in the lead. Yes, she is when she comes out of the water in lane number 3. Siobhan Haughey, the world champion in this event last year in Abu Dhabi. Less than 25 meters to go. Haughey at 37.75. And it is a battle for second place. Maggie McNeil getting in the thick of things. Haughey's going to get there first. And it is Gastadello out of lane 1 who gets second, and Vasek does take third place. But it is Siobhan Haughey in that 51.33 time.
Yeah, and all these swimmers are here to do is get more racing experience and see where they're at in their season, and Haughey is in a great spot, 2/10 faster than where she was this time last week. And all you can ask for is a little bit of improvement, a little thing to a few things, I guess, to fine tune as you get more racing experience. Great swim there out of lane 1, as you mentioned. Beryl Gastadello taking second. I knew she had the front end speed, but sometimes it's a little up in the air whether she can close the race well. Her first and I believe last race of the night, so ending strong here in Toronto, and we'll hear what they have to say. But yeah, you can see it's all Siobhan Haughey coming into the wall there, keeping her head nice and low and aerodynamic through the water and making sure she's not taking any breaths in that final 5 meters.
So we've got 5 swimmers, including Maggie McNeil, all under 52 seconds. Vasek quite a bit faster than she was in the heats, but she finishes in third place. But it is Haughey on top in Toronto, Gastadello and Vasek on the virtual podium as well.
Standing by with your winner here in the 100 freestyle, Siobhan Haughey from Hong Kong, China, 19.3 points on the win in the 100 freestyle, and another win here at the FINA Swimming World Cup.
Yeah, I'm really happy to, it's my birthday tomorrow, so I really want to have a good last race of being 24, and really happy with how I did.
Well, early happy birthday, a nice win here tonight to go with your president. Any plans for tomorrow?
Unfortunately, no, we're traveling to Indy tomorrow, so not really any plans.
Well, hopefully someone will get you a cake with a candle on at some point tomorrow. Beryl Gastadello, outside smoke in lane number 1, coming in for second. Great closing speed. Was that part of your strategy here tonight?
Yeah, missing the last one wasn't part of my strategy, though. I'm super happy. I got 51. I'm securing my spot for Worlds. So shout out to all the French Canadians as well.
Okay.
There's a lot of people here. Merci beaucoup à tous les Français qui sont présents ici.
Congratulations. And Katarina Vasek touching third. Are you happy with that time here in the 100 freestyle?
Yeah, I'm really happy. This is really close to my best time. So huge improvement from Berlin. So I'm really happy.
Congratulations, and congratulations, Siobhan Haughey, your winner of the 100 freestyle here at the Swimming FINA World Cup in Toronto.
Big smiles there, and yes, an ode to the French Canadians. I know for the Paris kind of preparations, it's so nice to have a country that, you know, we speak both English and French with them, and leading in there, I think we're going to get really close to a lot of the French compatriots. So awesome for her to give a shout out, and great racing there for it to end off kind of that sprint freestyle side of things on the women's side. We still have one more men's freestyle event, and here we are with the men's 200 freestyle coming up.
200-meter freestyle final.
Indeed, here we go with the men's 200-meter free. We begin with lane 8. This is a Stars and Stripes stacked field. Trenton Julian, 23 years of age, already won the 200 butterfly and was third in the 100 fly.
Kieran Smith.
Yeah, and Kieran Smith won the U.S. Olympic trials in this event. He was member of Team USA's 4x200 freestyle relay in Tokyo. They finished fourth.
7 for United States of America.
A couple of times on the podium for this American. Brooks Curry was second in the 50 free, was third in the 100
In
free.
lane 2, representing Netherlands, Luke Crew.
And Luke Kroon, the 2021 European champion in the 400 free, finished 5th on night 1 here in the 400.
In lane 6,
Didn't we see Luke Kroon in the 800 as well earlier?
Breno Correa.
There is Breno Correa, bronze in the 200 free at the recent South American Championship. 3-time medalist at the Short Course World Championships in relays.
Drew Kibler.
Drew Kibler on that same relay with Smith in Tokyo. He was born with a hearing impairment and is an incredibly visual person. He is a very talented photographer and poet.
Lithuania, Denis Rapsis.
Denis Rapsis already on the podium in Toronto, third in the 400 free. This should be easy then. Half the distance, bronze in this event in last year's short course worlds as well.
South Africa, Matthew Sates.
Here he is again, Matthew Sates, the champion earlier tonight in the 400 IM. Starting off our program strong. We will be looking to try and be back-to-back overall World Cup champions. There's a lot on his plate, but the reason why he's racing so much is to get those valuable overall points. And as you mentioned, we'll have to keep an eye out for lane 2, Luke Kroon. He did win our 800 freestyler earlier this evening, so both lanes 4 and lane 2 have had some pretty tough programs tonight, but expect them. That's what it's all about here, you know, getting up and racing multiple times, challenging your body similar to that way you would in a practice, in a hard one. So this is what they all train for, and I know they're more than prepared to do it in a competition like this.
American Drew Kibler, you see in lane 3, was 4th at the World Championship long course in this event this year. And we're underway. Men's 200-meter freestyle. 8 lengths of the pool. Kibler in 3, Sates in 4, Rapsis in 5, and Correa is in lane number 6. And touching first is Brooks Curry in lane 7.
Yeah, we've seen Brooks in the 50 and the 100 reaching the podium here this week, but also keep an eye out for lane 1. Kieran Smith taking a very similar path to Beryl Gastadello in the outside. No one can really see them. Nice clear water, have that empty lane beside them, and they can use that to their advantage.
Yeah, you do have Americans 1 and 2 from outside lanes, and Brooks Curry continues to fly, 36.06. Let's see his 100-meter time here, and then he's getting a challenge from beside him, Trenton Julian up there in lane 8. And through 100 meters in 49.30 for Brooks Curry. Second is Julian, and third is American Kieran Smith.
And these are 3 men that have been on valuable U.S. relay teams and have had the chance to kind of get international experience in this event.
And Trenton Julian has now taken over the lead, way up at the top in lane number 8. And with 50 meters to go, he is up by 2/10 of a second.
And keep an eye on Kieran Smith. He's more of a distance specialist, so he'll try to empty the tank. But here comes lane number 4 as we speak. Matthew Sates isn't done yet.
Sates is trying to challenge out of that lane 4, but way up at the top, still leading, is Trenton Julian. Can he hold on? They're coming to the wall, and it is Curry from lane 7 who sneaks it out. It's an American sweep. Curry, Julian, and Smith. The winning time, 1:42.32, 300ths faster. It was all about the touch for Brooks Curry.
Yeah, we talk about how important racing is here. That was a race put on by the Americans, and they got too far ahead for anyone to catch them. Sates and Rapsis tried to make a move, but it was a little bit too late. And showing some fatigue there is Matthew Sates. He's had so many races to do over the last couple weeks, but he was a good 2 seconds slower than he was a week ago in Berlin. So he'll kind of take that one back, look at with his coaches. Did he kind of leave a bit too much in the tank? This was an amazing race, though. Look at Brooks Curry with a 50 to go. Still had about a half a body length behind his teammate, Drew Kibler. Oh, no, sorry, that was Trenton Julian. Drew Kibler finishes 7th for the U.S., but we had, half the field were Americans there. It was a very close finish, head down. These are where the details are so important there. No breathing in the last 5 meters for either of those two. Very close finish there. It's Curry, Julian, and then Smith out in lanes 1, 8, and 7.
And there you see it, Matthew Sates by 100ths of a second misses the, virtual podium. Brooks Curry, if there were medals awarded this weekend, he would have a gold, a silver, and a bronze. They're virtual medals, though. He gets a first, a second, and a third. Curry, Julian, and Smith, 1, 2, and 3. Chris, take it away.
A sweep by our athletes here from the United States of America. Brooks Curry with the win. What a race. 0.14 between first and 5th. Do you know how close it was coming into the wall?
No, I did not. I saw in the last turn that there was a bunch of guys like right there. I could see far down the pool. I knew it was going to be tight, and nothing much you can do.
Head down and hand to the wall. How great is it to be top 3 here with your teammates from the United States of America?
It's awesome. I mean, you know, great competition, great guys.
Well, congratulations on the win here tonight. Second place, Trenton. Congratulations on the swim on the outside. How are you feeling about that time? I mean, it was just about that race and really getting your hand on the wall.
Right, yeah, that time doesn't really mean that much to me right now, but just being able to race those guys, have such a close race, and try to get my hand on the wall was what was important.
And 1/100th between you and the guys in 4th spot. Pretty close down to that wall. Could you see them over a couple lanes, or did you just try to get your head down?
Swimming in lane 1 is my favorite because I can just put blinders on and go out really hard. You know, you try to win those close races, but I'm fine losing to a couple of good American guys.
Did you strategize? Do you ever strategize in the morning to try and get an outside lane?
No, I wish it was easy to predict where everyone else would be, but if I could choose lane 1, I'd choose it every time.
Congratulations to our top 3 in the men's 200 freestyle. Your winner, Brooks Curry from the United States of America.
Yeah, big smiles there for Brooks Curry. Brooks is actually teammates of Maggie McNeil at LSU, so that's a pretty cool kind of storybook finish, and he probably came here with her to be able to train and race with his teammate. An NCAA champion, an Olympic gold medalist, a lot of accolades to his name as well, but there's so much depth at the U.S. that it's kind of hard to remember where everyone fits in. But there you go, Drew Kibler. Oh, sorry, why do I keep wanting to say Drew Kibler? There you go, Brooks Curry, our champion.
Individual medley final.
And the final event in the pool will be stacked with Canadian racers. And there's the first to be introduced, 23-year-old Mary Sophie Harvey. And she will swim out of lane 8, trying to better that 2:11.53 time.
Ella Jansen.
Ella Jansen, 17-year-old from training out of this exact pool, 5th in the 400 free on night 1. Made her first senior national Canadian team this past summer.
McIntosh.
You just saw her on the podium in the 200-meter backstroke. She's already got a first in the 400 free, beat Katie Ledecky.
In lane
first
2,
in the 400
Canada,
IM as well.
Kelsey Wog.
And Kelsey is a breaststroke specialist, so we'll have to keep an eye out for her out in lane 2 on the breaststroke leg. She is a self-described chameleon enthusiast and has multiple pet lizards.
Bailey Anderson.
Bailey Anderson, 5th in this event at last year's Short Course World Championships in Abu Dhabi. Keep an eye on her in lane 6.
For United States of America, Peter Nelson.
The Berlin winner in both the 100 and 200 IMs, 100 and 200 backstrokes. Tonight we saw her already win the 200 backstroke under world record pace at the 100, so bodes well for her here.
Ashley McMillan from Penticton, British Columbia, silver in this event at the Junior Pan Pacs this year. She trains here in Toronto as well.
Pickram.
Sydney Pickram here. We saw a very strong prelim swim for her this morning. Looked controlled and relaxed, and she's really just back enjoying the sport, which is great to see. Short course world champion in this very event, comes in as a Canadian record holder as well. Her best time, 2:04 flat. Probably won't expect a Canadian record in this race, but look at those Canadian flags. 7 of 8 within this field are Canadians. They will be tried to be stopped by Beta Nelson, the Berlin champion in this event. Coming probably off a little bit of fatigue after her 200 backstroke. That one's a difficult one on the legs, but like I mentioned earlier, this is all about just getting up and racing, and we'll see what we have here in the 200 IM.
Like many, we are curious to see how Summer McIntosh does here out of lane 7. She seemed to kind of go fairly easy in the heats this morning. Women's 200-meter individual medley. Athletes will start with 2 laps, 50 meters butterfly. That is Summer McIntosh's strength as she comes hard up there in lane number 7.
Beta Nelson, also a great start here. Her fly back is arguably her strength, obviously back, but her fly also very, very strong. She swam the 50 fly earlier here, so looks like Nelson as we go into the fly.
It's going to be tight at the wall, and it is Beta Nelson just ahead of Summer McIntosh by 700s as the athletes switch to backstroke. And Nelson, again, she's got 2 wins already in Toronto. But a good backstroke swim here for Summer McIntosh.
Yeah, McIntosh just put herself on the podium in the 200 backstroke, so we're going to have to start calling her a backstroke here soon. Keep an eye now on Sydney Pickram, though. She's staying within a body length of both leaders. Her breaststroke is definitely her strength, so keep an eye out for lane 4 as we go from back to breast.
This is where Summer McIntosh's race kind of went a little bit south this morning in her switch over into the breaststroke. And now here comes Sydney Pickram in lane number 4. She is dynamite in that stroke. She is moving towards the lead. Beta Nelson trying to hold on.
Yeah, and although she is the Canadian record holder, the show course world champion in this event, she also has some accolades in the 200 breaststroke. So individually breaststroke, she is well known on the international stage.
And this is tight. The athletes will switch to 2 laps of freestyle. It is Sydney Pickram who is going to touch first with less than 50 meters to go. Summer McIntosh is sitting in 3rd place. Here comes Nelson of the U.S.
A completely different strategy. She stayed underwater for about 12 meters and Pickram popped up right away.
And it's a North American battle in the middle of the pool. Nelson is first, just ahead of Pickram. And the battle for bronze includes Summer McIntosh. Here comes Nelson. Here comes Pickram. Touching! It is Nelson first, then Pickram, then McIntosh gets on the podium in 3rd. And the winning time, 2:05.08 by Nelson. What a weekend for her in Toronto. Her 2nd win tonight, her 3rd win of the weekend.
Outstanding, and she's using a lot of her experience from the NCAA stage for the University of Wisconsin. She is an NCAA champion. Sydney Pickram also has that short course yards experience, but you definitely notice those underwaters as such a strength for Beta Nelson. She was on the last leg of a race like that that's really taxing. To go 12, 15 meters underwater is almost unheard of. So I'm very impressed. I want to know all of the hypoxic work she's doing in practice, because that truly is something special to witness. And amazing performances here. You could see at the breaststroke it was Pickram still in the lead, and then she pops up, takes a breath out that first stroke, which kind of slows down a lot of the momentum that you came into the turn with. But of course, a great performance there on the final freestyle leg. It was neck and neck between these two. Made it an exciting one for us to close off the World Cup here in Toronto.
Beta Nelson touches first. By the way, Summer McIntosh about 4 seconds faster than she was in the heats. Nelson in 2:05.08, the winner. Look at all the Canadian flags after that. Well, she was the only American in the race, and she sneaks out the win over Pickram and
Our
McIntosh.
final interview of the night and of the FINA Swimming World Cup here in Toronto, the women's 200 individual medley. Beta Nelson winning in Berlin in the 200 IM, winning here in Toronto, and a great race down to the final wall here tonight.
Yeah, I'm so lucky to have this lady next to me. She pushes me to be my absolute best. Great field, really tough double. I definitely felt it there on the end, but super happy with the swim. It was awesome.
A personal best time to finish off the World Cup stop here in Toronto is a great feeling, and you can build on that as you move forward into the next meets.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to take each stop, try and be better each time, and great racing opportunity. Canada's been awesome. It's my first time here, so thank you to everyone for coming out. It's been great.
And officially, you're going to be 2nd overall in the point scores here at the FINA World Cup, so congratulations on that. A big check coming your way. Sydney, 2nd place here tonight in the 200 IM. And again, a great race back and forth throughout that entire race in the 200 IM, changing after each stroke.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like she said, we push each other because our strengths are definitely different. And so on backstroke, I'm like, can I see her arms? It's good. It's great. We've raced each other so many times, and I trained with Summer for years. So, these girls are going to push you, and sometimes coming in 2nd just helps you get better for the rest of the way. So, it's just a good training opportunity. I'm glad to be here, glad to be home for a bit, so it's good.
Congratulations, Sydney. Summer McIntosh 3rd here tonight in the 200 IM. Congratulations. And again, as Sydney mentioned, something to build on for the rest of the season in this event.
Yeah, for sure. Coming into tonight, I just wanted to be able to practice managing doubles with close races, and I'm pretty happy with my race, but always room for improvement.
Well, congratulations once again, your winner, Beta Nelson of the United States of America in the 200 IM.
Well, all of those racers multiple times on the podium in Toronto at this World Cup stop. The 2nd leg of the 3-leg 2022 World Cup. Berlin last weekend, Indianapolis next weekend. Still to be handed out the prize money and the awards and all of that as the fan, maybe some autographs too.
Honestly, as soon as Maggie McNeil walked past there, it was shrieking, and I couldn't figure out what it was. It was these kids so excited Look, that one girl looked like she was in tears. This is what it's all about. These kids have never gotten the chance to see a lot of these athletes compete in person, and this is something that I know when I was their age, I was doing that exact same thing. I was block wiping at all of the international meets that were ever held in Canada so that I can try to just get as close as I possibly could to those athletes that I've always idolized. But these are moments that they'll never forget, and I'm sure a couple of those in the stands right now might be on our national team or Olympic team one day.
Let's take a look back at this night. One of the highlights, I think, for us and probably for a lot of the viewers, Maggie McNeil in that women's 100-meter butterfly. She takes her 3rd win of the weekend. Let's take a look at some highlights from this.
Yeah, and Maggie really strong off of those turns and the underwaters. We've seen the underwaters be the highest level of conversation throughout the weekend, but smooth swimming for McNeil. You can see getting the breaths in when she needs them, but then this last there you go. Last 2 strokes into the touch were completely head down, and that's what she got. We talk about the height difference between these two, but she has to do everything near perfect technically in order to compete against someone that has, a 1.5 foot taller than her, and Louise Hanson.
Honorary Torontonian, as it were, Louise Hanson, yes. So those two, 1 and 2, pushed each other to a great time. One of the other highlights tonight was the men's 100-meter backstroke. Let's take a look back at that. Shane Casas was out of lane 2. He had won this event in Berlin. He was looking for his 4th consecutive victory, and let's watch and see if he gets it. We know he does.
Yeah, that underwater, you could tell he takes one quick pause before he starts his underwater kick, and that's one of the key learnings that I learned too late in my career, but you can keep up a lot of that momentum you're getting through the turn, and it allows your body to stay nice and aerodynamic. He got the depth off of the turn and used those butterfly kicks to get him the most power. He was by far one that maximized the details here this week and has been on top of the podium across the board, whether it's the IMs, backstrokes, and even raced a couple other sprints.
Well, I am definitely a believer in Shane Casas, so that was an impressive night of racing. Let's look back at some of the other races tonight. There was the win for Matthew Sates in the 400 individual medley, the first part of his double of the night. Rossetti also on the podium. And then in that men's tough 800-meter freestyle, Luke Kroon with that 7:48 time. Sebastian Paulins pushed him pretty hard, and then Lauren Wigington started fast and finished fast.
Absolutely, and we've seen a lot of success in lane 1 tonight. I really think we've seen quite a few outside smokers, and he was one of them.
There's that race we just showed you, the World Cup record set by Maggie McNeil in 54.78. Louise Hanson had a good swim, not quite as fast as Maggie McNeil. They pushed each other, though, to those great 54 high and 55 low times. Dominic Diamante just ahead of Catherine Savard for 4th in that race. The men's 50-meter butterfly saw the incredible performance again of Dylan Carter, absolutely dominating the 50-meter stroke events. He wins all 3 here. He won all 3 in Berlin.
Yeah, that's a name we'll be hearing across this World Cup stop, absolutely.
Well, we just saw her moments ago. We see again, that was her earlier part of her double with that really impressive 2:00.50 time by Beta Nelson ahead of Kylie Moss, Summer McIntosh, first part of her double of the night as well. Men's 100 backstroke saw another impressive performance. We just saw that from Shane Casas, and that was another World Cup record.
Yeah, under 49 seconds is very impressive for someone that isn't as familiar with short course meters yet.
This was a great battle in the women's 50-meter breaststroke. Miliutite just ahead of Lily King, who challenged her right to the wall. Gorbenko came through for bronze.
Yeah, and this matchup is going to continue through Indianapolis and further, like you mentioned, towards World Championships and big-time Paris Olympic Games.
We reminisce back to the men's 200-meter breaststroke. Another impressive result, a hat trick, as it were, for Nick Fink and for Casper Corbo. Both finished 1 and 2 in all 3 of the breaststroke events. Paputis was 3rd as well. So that was a fun night of racing, and a treat for Toronto, hosting a World Cup for the first time in decades. And here come the awards. There we talked about Carter and McNeil.
And now please welcome in the
and
athletes
Ledecky.
for our meet point ceremony for the FINA Swimming World Cup Toronto. Presenting the medals and prize money, FINA Technical Swimming Committee Delegate Jay Thomas, accompanied by Director of Operations and Sport Development, Swimming Canada, Suzanne Paulins. Our women's third place, with 55.8 points, representing United States of America, Katie Ledecky.
And don't forget, Katie did not even swim tonight. There she is with dry hair.
Jeans in the pool deck. It's a rare sight for sure. Yeah, we can't forget though, her world record performance last night was one to remember here.
Your men's third place with 57.2 points, representing Trinidad and Tobago, Dylan Carter.
Hard to know what else he could have done. He wins all the 50s and had a fourth place finish as well. Dylan Carter, in terms of points, is third in Toronto, gets a nice little check to help with his training for Paris 2024 as well.
Well, it does make you think about the FINA point portion of these point scores, so maybe the 50s aren't getting as
Women's
high
second
FINA
place
points
with
as some of the
58.3
races
points,
that Shane did.
representing United States of America, Peter Nelson.
Peter Nelson had an impressive weekend as well, with 3 wins. And I think also it has to do with how close you are to the world record, if I'm not mistaken.
That's basically at FINA points. The 1,000 FINA points is the current world record mark. So everything below it is, you know, they would have gotten 940, 970, the closer they got. So Maggie's times definitely put her in contention to get a little bit more points than did Beta's.
Men's second place with 57.5 points, representing United States of America, Nick Fink.
Winner of the 50 breast, the 100 breast, and the 200 meter breaststroke. Nick Fink had to work hard tonight to get that win in the 200, but he got it.
He did. The trio here and the trio in Berlin, it's quite impressive. It's harder, like we mentioned with a lot of these athletes, it's hard to get on top, but it's even harder to stay on top. So the consistency is very impressive.
Points, representing Canada, Maggie McNeil.
And what a weekend. Winner of the 50 backstroke, the 50 butterfly, the 100 butterfly. And Maggie McNeil was also second in the 50 meter freestyle as well. Her mom popped in the broadcast booth earlier tonight, said she's loving
Your
her time
men's
at
Toronto
LSU.
champion with 58.5 points, representing United States of America, Shane Cassis.
Cassis won the 100 IM, and he won the 200 IM, and he won the 200 back and the 100 back. I'd say that's a pretty good weekend.
It's probably why he's standing atop the podium with the base check in his hand. Yeah, no, absolutely. He's been swimming really, really well. He's also just recently moved to the University of Texas, so adjusting well to his new training environment.
The very best in the World Cup right there. Many of them will also race at the Short Course World Championships in Australia starting December the 13th in Melbourne. But many of them as well, not all of them, but many of them will race next weekend to round out the World Cup in Indianapolis.
And it's fun seeing those that do all 3 stops, but it's also fun seeing people make an appearance that we're not used to seeing on the World Cup stage, and one of them being Katie Ledecky and even Maggie McNeil, because she's in the middle of an NCAA season right now. So for her to make this stop is, these fans are really fortunate. I know she feels really fortunate. She had a nice visit with her family today. Yeah, her mom was saying her sister drove down, so it's been a little bit of a homecoming for her, but obviously adjusting well to her new environment, and great to see athletes that we're not used to seeing on a World Cup stage get to do it here.
And I suspect that a lot of them are going to have some autographs to sign before they get out of this building tonight. That has been the case in all three, the first 2 nights for sure, and I suspect again tonight. It was another good night of racing. It was another great weekend of racing. Brittany, thanks for teaching me more about your sport every day.
And thank you for teaching me more about your craft every day. It's been a true pleasure learning from you. And yeah, so much fun, fast swimming to watch here in Toronto. Great to see the crowd get involved. Great to see how excited the youth are. And I think the future is really bright in the sport of swimming, especially across North America. And it's fun to see them go from here to the Indy Grand Prix. I think it's going to be a great stop next on the World Cup Series.
Really is a great sport. It's great to see athletes like Milja Tite fall in love with the sport and come back in it as well. And athletes like Nick Fink continuing to shine in his events, all the breaststroke events, leading a world-class field.
I think similar to what we said about the size of Maggie McNeil versus Louise Hansen, I think it's important to note that the age of a swimmer is shown that it really does not matter. There's people of so many, we have a 15-year-old in this heat, and we also have seen 35-year-olds in these heats. So it's amazing to see the different levels of success and what this sport has grown to be.
A couple more wins for Siobhan Haughey. How about Brooks Curry? He had all 3 steps on the virtual podium with a first, a second, and a third this evening or this weekend. Finished it off with a first tonight, and he enjoyed every second of it. Well, Brittany McLean, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks to everyone for watching, whether you're in Canada or anywhere around the world. Swim fans unite. My name is Rob Snook, and on behalf of our entire team, thanks for watching, and we will see you, well, many of us will see you next weekend in Indianapolis.